Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books. Welcome to episode 4 of This Week in Books. I even have little show notes like it's a podcast or something, but I just have so much to say. I really like this new format. I definitely do. The more chatty discussion of all of the bookish thoughts that have accumulated over the week. It's very enjoyable. It's funny how just a name change and a mindset change can totally revolutionize something that is essentially just Friday Reads. Although it is actually Saturday here, to be honest. But that's also the beauty of not being bound to a day of the week. Anyway, I got a lot to talk about. So let me get started. First up, got back from Singapore Thursday afternoon, complete with the stomach bug. No, not blaming it on Singapore at all. Brent came down with it the day we got there, or the morning after we got there, and he thought it was food poisoning, like the salmon or the pork from the plane. I wasn't buying that food poisoning angle, and I was right, because I came down with the food poisoning the day before we left Singapore. So yeah, it's a stomach bug. It's not too bad. But I think perhaps it did affect my book shopping, because my book shopping didn't happen until the day before we left, in which I was starting to not, feel all that great. And so you're gonna be very disappointed in me. But I only bought one book. I know. It's okay though. There's still Hong Kong this month, so I could do better. We'll see. Anyway, Brent bought a book too though, so that's 2, and I'm gonna read his. So Brent at the airport picked up Singapore: A Very Short History from Timarasek to Tomorrow by Alvin Tan. Nice cover. I like it a lot. So yeah, Singapore was super duper interesting country. First up, the botanic gardens are amazing. Singapore Botanic Garden, which is the second place we visited, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site now and fully deserving of that title. I hear Changi Airport is amazing. We flew in and out of there, but didn't have time to check out the botanical garden in there either time. But there's always a next time. And just, the whole city-state concept, and it's another location that like one man kind of ripped the country into the modern world, so to speak. And we were very fascinated by that guy. Lee, I think is his last name. So, but this is a more comprehensive history from like way back when to the modern times. So yeah, and Raffles, we stayed at Raffles Hotel, which is like world renowned. It's where the Singapore sling originated. And I'm not really one for cocktails. Like, I drink them once in a while to be social or for, a fun change, but I never really love them. But the Singapore sling is different, okay? It is so good. So good. It's all these fruit juices, basically. And it originated because at the time, ladies weren't allowed to have alcohol in public in that time and location, and so it was designed to be a fruit drink. Wink wink. So good. Anyway, so much history in Singapore that we were very much interested in. So we got that. And then I went to Kinokuniya bookstore, which I believe is a Japanese chain. And I don't know, like, I've mentioned this before, that all bookstores are not created equal. And it's personal style, like who curates the bookstores. And often, like in countries that, like I'm reading in English, obviously. So, and shopping in a country where English is not the dominant language, the choices are more limited, which of course they are, because you have less people purchasing the books. So, it varies. It really varies. This bookstore tends to have quite a few good choices, but I think I just wasn't in the mood. But also I've noticed more so last year that I'll just buy books because I want to buy books. And if they don't have books that grab my attention because I'm excited to read them, I'll just keep looking until I find something that I think I want. And I mean, that's fine too, but I just wasn't in the mood for that. And again, it might have been the stomach bug. But I did find one that I was excited about, and that is Grady Hendrix, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I have noticed that I love horror from a social justice platform, or a social commentary platform, I should say. Like, I'm not a horror reader much. Like, I come and go with it. I think I read more of it in my early 20s, mid-20s, but Grady Hendrix hits the spot. And also, is it Stephen Graham or Stephen Graham Jones? He wrote, what was it? The one about the Indian. Sorry. Fabulous. And he's got a new one coming out. I just found out. I'll try to put it in the comments below because I can't remember it at the moment. And also, Percival Everett, The Trees, along the same lines. Those are the type of horror that I really get into. So, excited to read that this year. Oh, here's the Singapore sling story if you want to pause and read. My little glass. They give you these drinks when you get in your room at the hotel. So fun, so fun. And I have a haul of my other Singapore treasures at the end of this video if you're interested. Also, while I'm talking about that, I'm getting out of sequence with my notes, but if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm Doris Sander over there, and I am about to start posting my Singapore photos, and I have like 50 pictures of orchids, all different orchids. I kid you not. It was amazing. So anyway, I finished a few more books while on vacation, and since getting back. 10 books in January. I was very happy about that. I think I've already bragged, but you know, it's worth bragging about again. So I hope to repeat that feat in February. I'm off to a good start. I've already finished 4. The first one, I don't have it here. I finished World of Wonders, which was the Book Naturalist pick for January. Book Naturalist is a book club run by myself and my friend Heidi from My Reading Life. And I read that while vlogging the Botanic Gardens. So I just posted that video if you haven't seen it and would like to. It was a reread for me, and I loved it just as much the second time, for sure. Highly recommend World of Wonders by Amy Nezuka-Matadel. I can't imagine anybody not liking that book. And February is Spillover by David Quammen. I almost started it today because I just like, I am a freak of nature, but I love this book. It's all about zoonotic diseases, and I've read it like 3 times already, and I'm going to reread it again. What? I don't know. I don't understand myself either, but I love it. But I held back because I usually read the book Naturalist closer to the end of the month. But anyway, I'll get to that. The other book I finished while on the trip was Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. He is the author of Crazy Rich Asians, which I adore that trilogy. And I love the movie. Oh, so good. Just love it. And I wanted to read this one. I picked this one up at the same bookstore chain, but in Kuala Lumpur in November for Thanksgiving. And I got it off the Asian authors shelf. So Kevin Kwan is from Singapore originally, but he moved to, I think, the US, pretty sure, at a very young age. And I was reading up on him again prior to going to Singapore, and apparently he's in trouble with the Singapore government because even though he moved, I guess, to the States when he was like 10, they still wanted him to come back and serve his military time. Like, it's one of those nations where young people have to serve a couple years in the military. Like, I don't know the details, but anyway, I thought that was funny. So he can't go to Singapore anymore because, yeah. Anyway, this one is not set in Singapore. Crazy Rich Asians is. But this one is kind of set all over the world, like Hawaii and was it Monaco or Morocco? Bless me, I don't remember details. Venice, Nag's Head, like Hong Kong, so many things. Oh, that was funny too. They were talking about, like, prominent details in this book are set in the Peninsula Hotel in Hong Kong, which I have also stayed at. It's also a very world-renowned hotel. So that was really cool. Anyway, this one is, the guy is British nobility. His mom is from Hong Kong, but his dad is like, I don't know, an earl or some such, one of those titles. And the girl next door is her dad. She's also, her heritage is from Hong Kong. Her dad's the doctor, so he's the family doctor, so they're living on the property. And the guy loves the girl. She's never even thought of him that way, but they're absolute best friends. Like, they've always been best friends. And, you know, the older sister is getting married. The mom is just a hot mess. She's so funny. But I cannot explain why I love these books, because typically I don't like rich people problems. I don't like contemporary problems, but these books are so fun. They're just, I think because they're over the top. Yeah, and everything's tied up prettily at the end. It's a romance, you know, like that's what it's supposed to be. That's why I read them. Loved it. Just, I really honestly loved it just as much as Crazy Rich Asians, although this one is a standalone, I guess, but it's not rated quite as high as the others, but I thought it was just as good. And then currently reading, we're making progress. Currently reading, BookTube prize, okay? The BookTube prize emails came out, and I'm reading nonfiction for the first round. I'm reading nonfiction throughout, but I got the call. I got the call for round one, and I was so excited. So excited. Like, I got the best group. You know, it's like the luck of the draw. Sometimes you get a group where you either don't really like several of the books, or there's a couple of really chunksters that you're kind of not interested in. You know, it's the gamble of BookTube prize, and that's fun. But I got the lucky deal. I got the lucky deal this time. So of the 6 books, I owned one already. I haven't read any, but I own one. And there was only one that I knew from the get-go wasn't a me book. And luckily, it's a 250-pager. So I have already finished 2 of them. Yes. The 2 shorties, obviously, but, you know, no shame in that game. So I finished the 200-pager and I finished the 250-pager. And then the other 4, like the longest one is only 600 pages, and it's on a topic that is near and dear to my heart. So I think it's going to be a good round. I'm currently reading 2 more. So my goal is to finish 4 in February. But, you know, I could even finish all 6 in February at this rate. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I cannot, if you're not familiar, the BookTube prize is run by Robert Sheard. I keep wanting to say Barter Hordes, but he changed that. But he runs it like a speech debate. So the books are put into groups of 6, and you have a group of judges reading those books and ranking them 1 through 6, and then he computes the data, and half of them go on to the next round and are redistributed amongst the judges again. And it's just really fun to see the process go. And I feel like I'm losing the light. I'm still here. Let me get closer. Anyway, very, very excited to have a great group for round 1 and to be making so much progress already. Other things I'm currently reading are, I hadn't touched this book all month, and then I got a wild hair and picked it back up. Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow. And I really am enjoying having a big biography on the go. It's just, I don't have any compulsion or set goals with it. I just pick it up randomly here and there. I'm about at the 20% mark. I started it 1st of January-ish. And that's totally fine. I've got no agenda with, I'm doing the Presidential Project, which is reading the American presidents' biographies in order from start to finish, except we will be skipping one. You know which one. I don't need to ever relive that when I get there. So, George, I've been reading this one about, so far it's just been him growing and maturing. So I've already talked about his early years. This section that I read was more him getting more into political life, but also more about his personal life. So far, it's been mostly about his personal life. And just interesting quirks, like he was quite the dandy. Like, he liked to be well presented to the world. He liked pretty things, elegance, and maybe I misread something, but I feel like I read at one point that he spent 300 pounds on an imported carriage with his crest on it and everything. And then later on, I feel like I read that he spent 225 pounds on a very nice retirement home for his mother. Could that be true? I don't know. And his stepdaughter, Patsy, just passed away, and that was quite heartbreaking. And now we're just at the turning point where he's become politicized and they're ready to take up arms against the British. So very exciting stuff, very exciting stuff. So along with Washington, once I finish that, I'm going to head to You Never Forget Your First by Alexis Coe, which will be a reread. And this is interesting. I'm interested to see what I think about this the second time around, because this is kind of more a tongue-in-cheek feminist look at George. And like taking the shine off the lily, if you know what I mean. And she pokes a little bit of fun at Ron Chernow, but Ron's a pretty good writer. I mean, I get what she's talking about, but I wonder if, I'll feel the same when I read that again after having read Ron's version. But also, I think I mentioned last week, surely I did because I finished it, was The Codebreaker, Jennifer Doudna, Gene Editing, and the Future of the Human Race by Walter Isaacson. So I mentioned this again because this was my first Walter Isaacson, and I really enjoyed it. I thought he was a great writer. And I remember my first couple years on BookTube, one of my goals for one of those years was to become familiar with great nonfiction authors. I feel like there's so many authors that are household names in the bookish community and in the fiction realm, and I knew all those, your Toni Morrison, Amy Tan, John Steinbeck, Stephen King, but I feel like nonfiction writers are less well known by and large unless you make an effort to get there. And I feel like I've gotten there. Yeah. So I feel like Walter Isaacson is one that I'm going to be reading several of. Like, I'm into the sciences, so obviously I'm going to want to read Einstein and Da Vinci. But while I'm reading the presidentials, once I finish with George, I think before I get to John Adams, I'm going to do Hamilton by Ron Chernow. I think I should. And then before Thomas Jefferson, I think I'm going to do Ben Franklin by Walter Isaacson. I think that would be good right there. Also, there's an Elon Musk bio by Isaacson. Maybe I could read that when I'm supposed to be reading, that president that I'll never read his bio. That's a long way down the line. This is a long way down the line. But he's also got an Einstein and a Da Vinci. Did I say that? I think I lost my train of thought there. But anyway, let's get back on track with our mental train. Yeah. Okay, more currently readings. I got a buddy read on the go. So I don't remember when I was supposed to start this, but I'm taking it slow, Joe. I'm reading this with Joe Smith, who is the best buddy reader. So Joe and I read Fanny Herself last year by Edna Ferber. And let me tell you, Edna Ferber is one of the greatest writers that I never knew about until recently. Why didn't I know? I don't know. She's a Pulitzer Prize winner. This is her Pulitzer Prize winner. So big. But Fanny Herself was wonderful. If you like Victorian reads, and you want to read kind of that era and style-ish, but from the U.S. perspective, highly recommend. So I've started So Big, and it's going to be so great. I've only read one chapter, so I don't really want to talk about it just yet, but I was just immediately gripped. A lot of times fiction books can take like 50, 60 pages before you're invested. But Edna Ferber, I'm just immediately invested. And she's got a couple others that I'm going to read. I think I'm going to tell Joe this is a yearly event for us, the Edna Ferbers, until we finish. So yeah. So at the moment, I am currently reading 6 books. I was reading 7, but I finished a couple and started another one. So yeah, I'm back in the poly reader zone and liking it. I mentioned this last year, a couple years ago, during the COVID. Are we still not supposed to mention that happened? It feels like so Twilight Zone at this point, but I turned into a one or two at a time reader again. Like, I didn't know that you read more than one book at a time until I got on BookTube, really. I've been on here like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. And I got really into PolyReading and I loved it. And then whatever happened during the COVID, the mindset, I started reading just 1 or 2 books at a time, like a physical and audio kind of thing. But now I'm fully back in the polyreader zone. Got 6 on the go and just enjoying dipping in and out of them. Whatever you're in the mood for, you just grab that one. And I think I might even pick up another one because currently I'm reading the 2 BookTube prize that I mentioned. And I've got one from my school library, and I've got my buddy read, and I've got an audiobook that I haven't listened to in a week and a half or 10 days more, and The Presidential Project. But I'm kind of wanting to pick just one off my physical shelf here to keep that streak going in case, I buy a bunch in Hong Kong, So yeah, anyway, I think with that, I need to tell you that I owe you some videos. I still haven't done my TBR talk for February, and I still want to, even though, February will practically be halfway over. I just want to do a shelf TBR talk update with my bookshelves. I think that'll be fun, like maybe before I go to Hong Kong at least. And I haven't done my favorites of 2024, and to be honest, I really haven't felt compelled to, but I still think I might, maybe for Valentine's Day or something. It's fine, anytime. And this coming weekend, I was chatting with some bookish friends, and Karen from Run Right Reads mentioned that it's mid-month book bash this weekend, which is when me and some friends try to read a little extra and vlog it. And I was like, whoa, I think the stomach bug has derailed me, but I'm getting back on track. So I have not been doing mid-month book bash this weekend, but I'm thinking that I will on Monday. So typically mid-month book bash is from Friday to Monday. So it's based on that old 24 and 48 readathon that nobody does anymore. But, us older folks needed more time because 24 and 48 just doesn't work. So Friday to Monday. And I have been reading a lot. I'm excited about my reading level, but I haven't been vlogging it. I've just been reading on my own. But I think that I want to vlog on Monday because I'm a school teacher. If you didn't know, I'm a school teacher at a private boarding school in China. And it's getting so dark. I'm still here. I'm almost done. So what was I even talking about? I lost my train of thought. Let me look at my list here. Oh yes, mid-month book bash. Yeah, and back to school. So Monday, I've been off for 2 weeks for Chinese New Year. So Monday is back to work. And what typically happens is I get a lot of reading done on the weekend and breaks, and then I just get scattered when work starts because, you know, hello, work is a lot of work. But I want to try to establish a good routine at work. So best start on the first day back, right? So I want to get a good routine to make sure I get some reading in during the work week. So I think I will try to make a little routine day in the life of a school teacher that reads books kind of thing. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon, and the rest of this is just probably random vloggy bits. So see you in the next one. Bye. It's raining at Raffles. Oh, that's the lawnmower. What? Whoa. The lawnmower is blowing in the rain. This is Raffles. But I like the rain. So nice. I like it. Some ducks up there. Or something. Pelican. I don't know. And here's the rest of the Singapore haul. So I got some new shirts and pants. These are the slippers from Raffles. The free slippers from the hotel room. I got a pair for me and a pair for Gabriel. Oh, it's so exciting. This is the peanut bag from Raffles, but I bought this at the Botanical Garden. New Christmas ornament. I love unpacking those every December. My sweet boyfriend made a pilgrimage to Marks and Spencer, which is a clothing store that also sells import food. What? He got these rolls, and this bread is amazing. Oh, gluten-free. Who is it? Marks and Spencer brand. Oh, this is amazing bread. And then pasta and some brownie mix. Also from Raffles. It's the home of the Singapore sling at the Long Bar. There you go. Isn't that the cutest? Oh my gosh. We got 2 of those. And for Gabriel, we got this fun snacks. Shiitake mushroom crisp, smoked chili and garlic flavor, and salted egg fish skin crunchy crisps. This is by the Golden Duck and DJ and A. Anyway, and then our sweet driver bought us these snacks for Chinese New Year on the way home. I don't know what they are, but they look fun. And 10 minutes from home, I got this cute teapot at the gas station of all places for my sister who collects teapots. Yay, nice haul.